You. You are the magic. You are the magic, and if they are calling you delusional for wanting what you want, for being so passionate about your desire, for knowing that it is going to come true for you, but they think that you are being dumb and delusional for wanting it so badly, then they are the losers and you're not the problem. You're not the problem. The right amount of delusion to get you what you want. And there is no right amount of delusion, to be very honest. You can be as delusional as possible. Just believe in what you want more than anyone around you, and especially when someone tells you that it is not possible. Take it to your ego and tell yourself, oh, I am going to make it possible. I will make it possible. Why? Because I am the exception. When my SP told me that, oh, I'm not meant for relationships, I've never been in relationships. Not anymore. That is what I told myself. Not anymore. From now, you will be. From now, you will be. Because why? That is what I expect of myself. I believe that my presence just brings instant changes in other people's life. That is self-concept. And you don't have to be all positive every day to embody that self-concept. You can be the most irritated, the most angry person in the world and still get what you want, because we are never not manifesting. We are just being passionate about what we want, and passion can come through anger, frustration, happiness. So feelings, again, do not matter. Feeling is not the secret. My mother has been delusional all her life, and that is why she could make my sister the first engineer from the family without any support. My sister did not even have my dad's support. And back in those days, even before we had smartphones, Google Maps, anything, my sister was 17 and she was traveling and trying to figure out stuff for herself because I was young and my mother had to take care of me. And all of this was possible only because my mother was delusional enough to believe that, oh, I have raised my daughter strong enough to handle things on my own, and she's going to be an engineer, and she's going to get into the college that she wants, and she's going to be the first engineer from the family, the first female also to be an engineer. Why? Because my mother couldn't be so. And that is why she made her dreams possible through us. Flipping every negative thought is not the secret. Being positive all the time is not the secret. You are the secret. You are the biggest competition in your manifestation journey. The only obstacle that you need to cross to manifest something is yourself. The only person you need to convince in your head is yourself. Half of the times when I am talking to my clients about their manifestation or whatever it is that they want, it is because they are ashamed to want it. Why? If I want something, it is going to happen. I don't care if someone else thinks that this is silly for me or this is not aesthetic for me to want it. They are not going to give me a tissue when I am crying alone at night, right? They're not going to be there to pay my bills. And I love that about myself. When I was young, an astrologer told my mother that this girl is never going to listen to anyone. And that is her greatest virtue, because she is always going to be right, and because she will figure life out through her own conviction. That is what I'm doing. And I am telling you all of this because there was no one to tell me all of this. There was no one to tell me all of this. I had been bullied all my life. not by my friends or, classmates, but by elders, by teachers. Sometimes your personality is so bright, sometimes your light is so bright, people try to dim it. And I truly believe that I am that person in other people's lives. So when my teachers in school tried to corner me or tried to bully me, and there was a lot of favoritism going on, by the way, on my life when I was in that particular school, I used to tell myself I am never going to be that teacher when I grow up. And guess what? I became a teacher when I was 15. That takes a lot of delusion to, do so. And I had been teaching ever since. I have taught school students, college students till I was 23, and now I'm teaching adults. The subjects have changed, but I've remained a teacher. And being a teacher at 15 not just required me to be delusional, but also my mother to be delusional enough to believe in me. She never wanted me to waste time doubting myself. That is why she made me a hobbyist, and whatever I'm doing today, it's because of my mother. And I did find some good teachers later on. When I went to live in the hills, I found a mentor, and I owe him my life because he taught me how to speak on camera. He taught me how to speak in public. Today, everyone tells me, oh my God, you are so confident. I wish I was like you. You guys don't know how I was. I used to be so shy. I used to be so nervous. After being 10 years in that horrible school and never been given a chance to be myself and actually explore what I'm good at, I remember I used to lean the first time that particular teacher asked me to, deliver a speech. I leaned against the table because my knees were trembling and I needed support. The first thing he did was push that table away, and he was like, you speak shaking. You speak the way you are and you speak whatever you want. And for that entire week, he made me speak on different topics in front of different crowds, different classes, just to send me to a competition, not to win it, but to prove to myself that yes, I can do it. Because he saw that in me. His 3D showed out otherwise, but he was delusional enough to believe in me, and I did it. And I was delusional enough to believe that I will never be a teacher like that. So, when I was working with Macmillan Education, I have been invited to schools and I have spoken in front of hundreds of students talking about how to speak in public and also training teachers of how to do positive reinforcement. So ultimately, what you believe comes true even when your 3D shows you opposite. You just have to be resilient enough that, oh my God, I am the exception and I am not going to let whatever has happened so far dictate my future, and what I believe is going to come true. That is all you need to manifest. When my sister started clicking pictures of food, she had 100 followers on her Instagram. And when she would buy, those stuff that she was clicking pictures of, and she would click pictures of them for a really long time, the food would go cold, and she would go to the terrace and click a lot of pictures. She would spend a lot of money in buying those stuff. Everyone would shame her. What are you even doing? Who even does this? Are you stupid? Who will even watch all of these? She did not care. And the more people shamed her, the more she started clicking those pictures out of ego. That you are shaming me so much, you are shaming me so much. One day I'm going to make money out of it. One day people are going to know me because of what I do. And now she has an Instagram account of over 100k followers. And these very people who, shamed her, they celebrate her. They look up to her. They get proud of her. And people tell me, a lot of my friends and all, they tell me, I want to be like your sister. Nobody remembers the first day when we all start, how miserable we felt about wanting something, and how, most importantly, how miserable everyone around us made us feel. So when her account got hacked, all of these people, people around her, they told her repeatedly that, oh, you will never get back your account. So many people were happy about the fact that, her account got hacked and then she would have to start her fan base from scratch. She kept on telling herself, I am not that unlucky. I don't care whose accounts couldn't be retrieved. I am going to get my account. I'm going to get my account today itself. Did she feel happy? No. Did she feel scared? Yes. Was she 100% sure? Not really. But did she stop persisting in that assumption that she is going to be the exception in this case? No. She kept on telling herself till it became a fact. It becomes a fact later, but it has to be a truth first. It has to be the truth that you believe in. I don't remember the last time I manifested something without being delusional. From, having the job that I wanted, just by telling myself, oh, I'll work with books, oh, I'll work with books, oh, I never want to go to the office, oh, I'll have remote work. I just started speaking things into existence and later seeing that that is becoming the norm. When I wanted a remote job, a job that does not hustle me and lets me work on my pace, I did not know that 2 years later people will be talking about it and normalize it. When I wanted to stay in the hills, I was just listening to songs of my favorite artists and I was thinking, oh my god, I am right now sitting exactly in the lap of Darjeeling and I am watching the beauty of the hills. And in 1 month, I could manifest an apartment that had the view of Kanchenjunga. People book hotels to get such a view. When I moved out again to study for my master's, everyone was, having a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions, a lot of nervousness around how to get the perfect apartment. All I did was visualize. I wanted an apartment with direct sunlight, and I was the only person who got an apartment with 2 balconies, direct sunlight, no extreme heat, second floor, everything perfect. These are not small or big manifestations. Look, okay, you want to talk about big manifestations? Let's talk about an SP, the thing that you all love, right? An SP who was told that, oh, I can't never meet you because you're too good for me. What did I say to myself? Oh, you will. You will. Yes, you will. Why? Because I can imagine it happening. I can't help it if I can imagine it. And if I imagine it, it is supposed to happen. It is supposed to happen. And I don't care what they're saying, what they're saying, what they're saying, what they're saying. I think that this is the right person for me and they are going to make my life even more beautiful. I believe it right now. I don't care what I will believe 2 or 3 years later. I will think about it 2 or 3 years later. I believe it right now and I think that this is my silver lining. And this is going to happen. And they're going to show up at my door. And that's how it happened. So when I believe in something, I make it an assumption. And even the most negative people in my life who have negative worldly views, friends who think that men are shit and there is no right man anymore, available, even they say things, yeah, but not your man, but not your man. So when I complain about my man to my friends, they are like, no, you are wrong. You are just over exaggerating it in your head. He's not like that. Why? Because my assumptions are he's the best of the best. It started with an affirmation. It started with an affirmation which sounded delusional on the first day that he's the best of the best. Oh, is he? I don't see him texting yet, but is he? Oh no, he is. He is. From delusion comes persistence. You have to persistently speak your affirmations into assumptions and then into facts in your life that you see every day, that you wake up to every day. Long before you see like, okay, this is my life now, you have to tell it in your head, this is my life. I wake up next to my SP every day. Your fiction, the fiction in your head is the only reality. That is what Neville said, and that is what every manifestation coach here says, and that is what I am telling you because that happens, that works. But all of these people who could manifest what they want, who could get anything that they want, they only listened to themselves and not anyone else. When I was manifesting my SP, I had removed every person from my life who would complain or who would bring doubts. And if I loved such and such people, I would tell myself these affirmations also to make it an assumption that what I want, everyone else wants it 10 times more. And my manifestation is going to be so strong that if someone has any sort of a negative manifestation towards it, God is going to protect me and God is going to remove them from my life, and I will not have to do anything. That is self-concept, that is conviction, that is discipline, that is being delusional. And persisting in that self monologue, persisting in that identity who wakes up with that sort of a conviction is all you need to do to manifest. I get a lot of comments about, hey, should I affirm in past or present? How many times? What should I script? What are the techniques that you did? The only technique that I believed in is the fact that I am the magic. And I did that in variations of it. If I had to tell myself 100 times that yes, what I want is mine, I did it. If I had to write it 100 times, I did it. I spoke my assumptions, I spoke my affirmations in every tense. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to commit to this one manifestation for 3 months? Lock in. Just completely lock in and promise yourself that in these 3 months, I am not going to entertain a single negative assumption in my head, and not even any person who tries to deviate me. If you are willing to make that sort of a commitment, you don't need a coach. You don't need any content. You only need yourself. In fact, you should tell yourself that I am the living example. I am the proof. Half of the time, people have so many questions because they do not want to confront their desire, to confront the fact that they want something so badly, and they want to hide behind all of these questions. Your questions are not doubts. Your questions are different forms of you procrastinating and not trying to do the work. You are still wanting to hide behind shame or disbelief or whatever it is that makes you believe that it is not going to be possible for you. Manifestation is not a technique. I keep on telling that in my channel. Manifestation is simply telling yourself that I will make it happen. And I will make it happen, especially when I see everything going shit in my life. Everything is going opposite. That is my biggest motivator. In fact, I love manifesting in crisis because that is how my brain is wired. I love being in survival mode for some reason. When life is good, I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about how SP is going to talk to me. I'm not worried about my future. And life becomes stagnant and something happens. Maybe money is less 1 month, or maybe, SP and I are not making fascinating plans for our future and life is stagnant. And then I'm like, okay, I want some crisis to make it happen. I'm crazy that way, but either way, I know it's going to happen for me. It's always going to happen for me. That is what your self-dialect should be. You're not going to watch any more videos. The thing is, we all want something, but we are not willing to work for it. There has to be some sort of alignment in what you want and how you are viewing it and talking about it in your head. For SP, if you want them to be the ideal husband or the ideal partner, whatever it is that you want them, you have to give them the role in your head first, or you let that person go at the first instance of you being blocked. You can choose only one identity, one assumption, and stick to it. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to commit to the identity of you who already has what you want? Are you willing to describe that manifestation in a way that makes you the winner of your story? Are you willing to do it judiciously every day and night and check every negative assumption? Forgive yourself for doubting, for having doubts, and are you willing to give yourself a time of 3 months and actually locking in If you are willing to make that sort of a commitment, number one, being delusional, and second, actually persisting in that identity of being delusional, then tell yourself right now, write it down in the comment section. From this very moment, I am not going to shrink myself. I am going to audaciously want what I want. I do not need any validation from the 3D to tell me whether I have it or not. My SP does not have any role to play to make me happy or to make me believe in my desire. It is only me and I in this journey, and all I need to do is want it audaciously and be delusional. I am a master manifester, and I am the exception. If this hits different from everything else that you have been watching, then that's conviction. That's a part of you finding yourself through my words that yes, there is this deep subconscious belief in me as well that I do deserve it and I can make it happen. I don't need you to like this video. I want you to use each and everything that I said in this video in your real life and actually get what you want. If you like what I do here and want me to help you get what you want, you can check the description box below to get in touch with me. And if this sort of a content makes you happy and you want more of it, you know where to find me. We'll meet again.